If I had to grow a brand from €0 to £1 million tomorrow, here's exactly how I do it. My name's Leighton. I run an agency based in Dublin. We help e-commerce brands scale that are in Europe or America with acquisition, retention, content, creative strategy, and we currently manage over 9 figures a year in annual revenue. Now, after seeing what works and what collapses under pressure from a business perspective and from a brand perspective, I'm going to give you my game plan as to how I would get an e-commerce business to $1 million and how I would do it in a way that would make me less stressed and a bit more, because e-commerce businesses tend to be very stressful for the founders and some of the people that we work with. So here's my suggestions for what I've learned. So step one, you want to build it as if it's a cash machine, not just a product. I'm probably thinking very businessy, and I understand that you need to really think about the product and make a really strong product to get things up and running. But I would want to create a business that is as reliable and as strong as possible. So the first thing I would do is dial in the unit economics. So before even I care about traffic, I'd ask, what's the lifetime value of this customer going to be? If I'm setting something up from scratch, I strongly consider subscription. Subscription would be the most ideal scenario. A consumable product, a replenishable category, or something with natural repeat behavior. I would not be selling sofas. I would not be selling, not even mobile phones, I don't think. Something that, you're not buying anything for a long period of time. I would want a subscription or a recurring business. So if it's a t-shirt brand, is it strong enough culturally that someone buys from that brand every 2 or 3 months, which people do? I've come across lots of t-shirt brands and apparel brands that do that. If it's skincare, supplements, coffee, what can I realistically get multiple purchases per year, or what can I do to increase that? So those kind of categories tend to be pretty manageable, because if you're on a specific supplement, or if you like a specific coffee, you want to get it a couple of times. As soon as you run out, you want to buy it. Your lifetime value is weak. Scaling becomes really fragile and very stressful. So I don't want a product, I'd want a cash engine, because that then allows me to, if I have a product that's specifically a cash engine, I'll be able to have more capital to reinvest in the growth and the content and the creative and the agencies and the people to really get this up and go. I'd also look at gross margin, average order value potential, try to get that up as high as possible, and bundling opportunity. If the numbers don't allow me to acquire customers really aggressive, I probably wouldn't recommend it. Step two, probably unexpected from an advertising agency guy, but I'd prove it organically first. I would probably, if I was setting up a business, if I was setting up an e-commerce brand today, I would probably not go near ads until I could get to 30 or 40 grand a month organically. Unless I had super proof of concept and it was a really aggressive approach, I would really just try to give it all my time and energy would go into trying to get to 30 grand a month organically, because I feel like it's the organic side of things is the best testing ground. You're going to be able to test all their angles, all of your features, all of these different hooks and ways to generate business. And then off the back of that, you're going to have so much learnings to scale up from an advertising perspective. So prove it organically. Get to that. Get sales coming in organically first, because also when you're standing up a brand, you don't want to put yourself under any unnecessary pressure, and spending on ads and then relying too much on ads can constrain the business more than it actually can help them out. So I want to understand what hooks resonate, what pain points hit, what visuals are stopping people to scroll, and what objections keep coming up in the comments. I'd not rush into ad spending heavily, and I'd give myself the space. Perfect. Okay. Step 3, I'd install a structured scaling system. So once I got that built up and I've got my cash flow coming in, I've got my customers built up, I have something now that I can actually start playing around with, and I can start understanding, okay, where's the scaling opportunities? So once the economics is strong and messaging is proven, I scale. So what does my scaling model look like? What's my CAC? What's my CAC to lifetime value ratio? What's an acceptable payback period? And how much working capital do I need? Forecast that for the next 12 months. So if I want to hit 1 million a year in revenue, how many new customers do I need? What average order value is required? What repeat rate do I need? And what ad spend does that imply off the back of those figures? So you're just hitting a target and you're working backwards. So think about it from this perspective. You have a strong product, then you have proven it organically, you now have a system that you can play around with. You're going to forecast what that growth looks like, and then you're just going to put in all the inputs and the output should come out. So step 4, from a product perspective, you're going to need to build that creative pipeline. So and this is even if you're not using ads as your main growth lever, you're going to need it from an organic perspective. If you want to have any kind of retail presence, you're going to have to think about your creative and your branding and your decks and everything. So I'd focus heavily on creative. So clear output targets. You want clear testing categories, hooks, problems, proofs, offers. The creative then becomes machine, and then that's going to allow you to scale. That's going to be the number one variable that will probably drive performance from an acquisition perspective. And if that drives up, your growth is definitely going to stall. So scaling is creative velocity plus financial discipline, which is pretty new, I suppose, from an e-commerce and from a product perspective. But it's really important that you consider that. And build structure before you build chaos. As revenue grows, I would not wait until I'm overwhelmed. I defined who owns paid performance, who owns retention revenue, who owns creative production, and even if it's contractors or freelancers at first, I definitely want to get those places delegated, and I would not want to remain the operator forever, because the real leap to 1 million requires system, it doesn't require hustle. So you want to get the right people in the right seats. My name is Leighton. Appreciate you checking out this video. I would appreciate if you gave it a like and a subscribe, and if you'd like to have a chat with me or my team, I'll leave my calendar in the description below.